Hello, welcome to another episode of the Unblocking podcast. It's a show where I talk to some people about challenges they're facing in their career, and we break those down, see if we can make any progress on those career issues. Do you just want to introduce yourself, and then we can tell me about like what you're feeling stuck on?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am Ayrton. I am 24 years old. I am a computer science student, and I am stuck on getting my career started. It's quite difficult to put it to words, but it's more like I don't really have any passion for the field anymore. There was one time where I did have some passion, but I don't know where it went. So yeah, that's my issue for now. So nice to meet
You
you
don't
all.
have any passion for computer science specifically?
I do have some passion for making video games for right now, but it's quite fickle. I'm not sure that it will last. That's the trouble.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to ask a few questions kind of rapid fire, which is what I do in a lot of cases to try to get context on your background, and then I'll try to help from there. So, some questions I have are like, have you ever been academically motivated? In other words, like, did something change that made it so that you're not motivated anymore?
Yeah. I was academically motivated. It was for a boot camp for computer science. It lasted for about 1 month, but after that, it's kind of went and never came back. The motivation.
Mm. And then why were you motivated at the time?
Because it was for 42 school actually, and it was quite fun. It was quite challenging. It's like it was unique. I'm not sure to explain it more for 42 school. So it was like a challenge for myself, like in a fun way.
Okay, so
I'm not
42 school
sure
is
how
just a one
to.
month program.
Yes. It was to get accepted, to get accepted into a program, but I was not selected for the full
I see.
course. Mm. Mm.
And so the motivation was that you really wanted to attend 42, and then after you weren't selected, you were no longer motivated because you didn't have anything that you wanted to do anymore.
Yeah, pretty much.
And what are you trying to do right now that you're not motivated to do? Like you're trying to finish a computer science degree, something like that?
Yeah. I'm trying to get a degree and to get my first job. So both of these are quite hard challenges for me right now to finish
Yeah.
the courses and to get a job.
Um, what's hard about it? Is it like you don't want the job or you don't think it's possible to get a job? You just like don't believe that there will be jobs, that sort of thing? Or is it more like the material is just challenging? Is it, yeah, just tell me more about your beliefs here.
To be honest, computer science was kind of not really a choice, but more like you know, I cannot find the word because, as you can guess, English is not my first language. It was on
Yeah.
a like a dumb stroke of luck, like a random. I choose it. I
Uh-huh.
choose it randomly. Computer science, so just because I like to use my computer. So yeah. So yeah, pretty much. I do not really think that even if I could find a job, I would like it. I would come to like it. So I think that's what
Okay,
my
so you just
beliefs
don't
are.
believe you would actually like programming.
I do not really see myself doing it for the next 10 years or 20 years. So, but
Okay.
even
And then,
so, there are sometimes when I like it. Mhm.
so you don't like programming. Um, why? Like, is it because it's boring? Is it because it's hard? Is it because it's complicated? Is it because you don't understand it? Is it because you think you don't like sitting down? Is it because you don't like typing things in a text editor? Like, there's a bunch of reasons why you could not like it.
Okay, so I do like sitting down and working on my computer. I do like writing on a text
Okay.
editor. But there are some languages that are required right now that are not really that fun to learn, like Java and POO in general, or object-oriented programming in general. It's not
Sure.
that interesting to me. But I need to learn it to make my games. So yeah,
Um,
I think
okay.
it's because it's too
Okay, that's
abstract
interesting. I'm still confused
for
about
for a short
why.
answer.
Like, it's not interesting. It's too abstract. Okay. It's too abstract. Um, and you just don't like the idea of like abstraction. It doesn't interest you to like be playing around with these abstract objects in your head, or is it that it's disinteresting or that it's complicated?
Mm, I have done some complicated things before, and it was fun. But this one is abstraction. It's not that I do not like the abstraction. It's that I cannot really see the results right away. Like it's too far ahead the results, so it's not really interesting for me. But with video games,
Okay.
it's more the feedback is more direct, so that's why it's more fun for me.
Do you make video games? Like, have you made any?
I am learning to make. Right now, I am making a prototype. Right now.
But you've never finished a game.
No, no. It was I started to learn how to make a game for 3 months ago. So I have not really had the capacity to finish a game.
None
The
of my
skills.
questions, by the way, are judgmental. None of them are judgmental questions. I'm just trying to get a
Mm.
view of the
No,
situation.
no, it's fine.
So, is there anything else that you would like to do? Like, presumably, you have some financial needs that you're trying to meet with this career. Is that
Of
also
course.
right? Are you motivated
Yeah,
to
yeah,
meet your
that's correct.
financial needs, or like at all, or no?
Mm,
Not motivated.
to be honest, not quite, but I know that I need to get up my to get up and do the work eventually.
But like, are you motivated to do it? You're saying no. It's not motivating. Is it demoralizing? Is it like demotivating?
Not sure, not sure. It can be motivating sometimes. It depends on the situations. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
So like some of my friends, again, I'm just trying to get a picture of who you are and what your motivations are because that tends to be the place where we need to look for help. Um, like some of my friends were very poor. I have a lot of friends who were born very poor, and for them, and there's two different classes. Like some of them, for them, it was very motivating to become rich. They really, really wanted to become rich, and they wanted to have money. They wanted to have a boat. They wanted to have a house. Like they wanted to buy stuff. Um, and even my dad, for instance, my dad was always really motivated to be able to buy the stuff that he wanted to buy. Specifically, and like it's random stuff, you know, it's every person's different. Like my dad really wanted to buy cars, and my dad really wanted to buy nice clothes because he would go to the nice clothing stores and he'd look at the nice clothes and he would really want them, but he couldn't afford them. So he wanted the nice clothes. In order to get the nice clothes, my dad had to become a salesman. And in order to be wealthy enough to actually get nice cars, he had to be a really good salesman. And so he became a really good salesman. Even though I think, you know, one thing that he's told me many times is that he's not necessarily always been motivated by doing sales. He always thought he wanted to be a rock star or a race car driver instead. But he was doing it practically because he was motivated by the money as well. And, you know, some practical reasons.
Hmm.
One question I have for
So,
you is like, there are other people I know, by the way. Other people I know are motivated not exactly by the money, but they're motivated by the responsibility. So it's something like, oh, I want to be wealthy and I want to have a good career because I want to help people. Like basically, I want to be a leader. You know, so they're motivated by a sense of leadership or a sense of responsibility. Like, oh, I want to be a leader in my society. I want to be advanced. I want to help other people, and so I need to become powerful first so that I can help other people become powerful. Other people I know are literally in the opposite camp. Like they're completely demotivated. The idea that they have to make money scares them. It makes them feel bad. It makes them feel frustrated. Like what they want to do is they just want to make art all day or they want to make games all day. Like why do they have to do this thing where they make money as well? That really sucks. And then it can be really demotivating. My question is like on this spectrum, what is your relationship with earning money and making career advancement stuff like that. But I'm less interested in your thoughts and I'm more interested and your actions and I'm almost more interested in your feelings. Like how what do you feel
mhm.
about it? So like some
Mm,
feelings, like
complex.
when I think about money, I can kind of like feel it in my chest. I can kind of feel it in my hands. Like there's some amount of like, oh, when I think about money, I feel pride. That's a feeling that I have about it, and
Mhm.
that pridefulness exists uh, in kind of like my chest and my stomach, and it's like, oh, that feeling motivates me. So I feel like I want to have it, and I want to be proud of myself for having it, that sort of thing. But I could
Mm,
imagine, like, there are times where I felt about money fear, and then I felt that fear like also in the pit of my stomach maybe, and it's made me not want to look at it, or I've gotten anxiety, that sort of thing. I'm curious what sort of feelings you have. Mm. Yeah, uncertainty is a
Because
really
I
hard
do
one.
not
So
know where
if
to
you're
start.
confused about why, yeah, if you're confused about why your actions are mismatched with your thoughts, a lot of times it's that you're
Mhm.
confused. Like you literally don't know how to connect the two things. So you're uncertain, literally. Um, so like one question I have for you is basically like, do you
Mhm.
your thoughts say that you're motivated, but do you actually know how to accomplish your goals with certainty? Like with kind of, yeah, it's definitely going to happen.
I have.
Like, do you believe that the plan is going to work actually? Like, do you really believe it? So let's critique your plan. First of all, tell me your plan, and
Yeah.
then once you tell
Mhm.
me it, then I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it.
Making games, mainly
Yeah.
art.
So
So that's
okay,
pretty
but your
much it.
plan is to sell merchandise using bots,
Mhm.
and then that will
Yeah.
fund your art.
My-
Yeah. So your own art. You're gonna like make art, and then you're gonna put that
Mhm.
art on merchandise, and then
Mhm.
you're gonna sell that
Yeah.
merchandise. Have
Much.
you ever sold merchandise before? So do you realistically think you're capable of doing that? I mean, I know you're theoretically capable, by the way. Like physically, I know
Mhm.
you could do this. People have done it before. But are you
Mhm.
confident that you're gonna be capable of doing that? And do you know every step of how to do it? I
When it comes
think
to
that
just
that
selling,
could
I can.
be, yeah, I think that that could be a place to look for why you're not taking as much action as you want, is that you have a
Mhm.
plan that you don't know how to execute. So what we would say is that you have a plan that you don't know how to realize. So to realize your plan is to
Mhm.
make it real and to bring it into the world. So you have an idealized version of the plan that you need to realize. And when you go to realize your ideas, you'll sometimes encounter a lot of different emotional blocks, including things like confusion, because you're like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Like, what's the next step? That's not to say that your plan is a bad plan or that it's impossible, but that like when you go to realize your plans, not only are you going to have gotten it wrong in a bunch of places, but also it's going to
Mhm.
be harder than you think, and it's going to be more complicated than you think, and you're going to run into all sorts of confusions. And part of the process of realizing the plans is having to like learn how to unblock yourself such that you do start taking action, because you can't, that plan that you mentioned, that plan involves like how many steps would you say? Like how
Mhm.
many individual actions would you need to take before that plan is done? Probably like I think thousands personally. Like I run a business and I do 50 actions in like the first half of the
Mhm.
day, like just in the morning. Um, and then I have to do another 50 actions in the evening, and then I do that every day for like literally 3 or 4 years. So it's like thousands and thousands and thousands of individual actions that I need to take in order to, now in order to make the first step of progress, maybe it's only 50. You're right. Like maybe 50 actions until you can see progress, and then you'll have more information. So I'm not saying you need to plan out all 1000 actions, but um but you might want to plan out the first 20 actions rather than thinking about like the general plan of like, oh, hey, I want to like get my merchandise on the store. It's like you might literally want to plan out the next 20
Mhm.
actions. And then when you look at that plan, you can compare that to your savings account or your bank account. And you can say, like, and on all your resources, your
Mhm.
network, your social media accounts, how many people you know, the people you can ask for help. These are your resources, right? So you have a plan. Can you still hear me? Hello? Okay, I think you still hear me. So you have a plan, and that plan is going to
Yeah.
cost resources. Those steps are
Okay,
going to
I'm
cost
here.
resources. Yeah.
Mhm.
And what you're going to need is to look at the plan and compare it to your resources and be like, can I actually execute this plan given the resources that I have? And if you can't, you have to admit that. You have to say like,
Okay.
okay, well actually I can't admit this I can't realize this plan with the resources that I have. That doesn't mean it's a bad plan, but that does mean I need to come up with a new plan. Does that feel like it would give
Mhm.
you any clarity?
Okay.
Is my main question. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
go ahead.
connection.
Hello. Do you think it's on my end or on your end? Sorry,
What is
the
going
connection's
on?
just kind of bad. Uh,
Can you hear me?
one sec. I'm gonna try to move and see if I can get a better connection. Are you there?
Yes. So just to make sure, our advice is to be more specific about each step of the plan and to consider that there are many variables, 50, 100s, and thousands. Is that correct?
The main advice is yes to essentially consider that the plan that you have in your head is actually composed of so many steps, and all of those steps cost you. Like they have costs associated with them. So it either costs you time, or it costs you money, or you need to ask somebody for something, or you need to learn something for every step. So I'm not literally telling you to do this for your business, um, although specifically to help you with unblocking yourself. So like at this step where you feel confused, you're like, why am I not acting even though I have a plan? Well, start breaking out your plan into all of its steps and all of its resources and everything that would be required in order to succeed. Like everything that would need to be required in order to guarantee success. And then you'll start to notice that you can't guarantee success, perhaps. Um, it could be for a lot of reasons that you can't guarantee success. It could be because you don't have enough money. It could be that you don't have enough time. It could be that you don't have enough knowledge. Like you literally don't know how to guarantee success. You're like, oh, you know, I've never sold anything before. And I realize now that I actually don't know how to sell stuff. So I have to learn how to sell stuff. And then you can budget for yourself an amount of time that it's going to take for you to learn how to sell things. But realistically, it's going to take you some amount of time because that's a skill and it's not an easy to acquire skill. So once you do that, you can start to develop conservative estimates of how much time it would take for you to succeed independently. For instance, I often tell founders that if they've never succeeded at running their own business before, that they should budget about 3 years to succeed. And that's 3 years of no income and full-time work toward uh, their project. And that's 3 years if they're getting a lot of feedback as well. So like 3 years, even if you're in a community of other people who are supporting you, like, and can help you and give you feedback and advice. A lot of people think about that and they realize, well, that's a long time. Shouldn't it theoretically be possible for me to succeed faster than that? And yes, in theory, it is possible. But in practice, again, you just have to do all these steps. You have to learn all these things. There's so much uncertainty. And at every step of the way, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to have to learn again. So,
Yeah,
one
definitely.
thing I'm worried might be happening in your case is that you're expecting too much of yourself. And then that's causing inaction where you're
Mm.
overwhelmed by how much work you have to do because you don't know how to do all that work. Do you feel like that's accurate or no?
Yeah, I think it is because my friends are telling me the same thing.
Mm.
Okay, so
And if
I need to
if that's the
lower my
case, you need more real. Yeah, we talk about like realistic. Like what it means for a plan to be realistic is just that you know how to realize it rather than being uncertain about how to realize that plan. So if you know how to realize the plan, then that's a realistic plan. I would encourage you to make some alternative plans that are very, very realistic, such that
plan.
when you look at them, you're like, yes, I could clearly realize that plan. I know how to realize that plan. And then you could compare how that plan feels. Um, do you have
All
any
right.
ideas for realistic plans off the top of your head? Or because again, it doesn't mean you need to give up on your other plans. It's just when you have these very idealized plans, those
Yeah.
often need to become later steps in your journey after you've learned more skills and after you've made more progress.
Some alternative plans. Uh, it's ever to just to enter into a job as a front end developers, or to do some commission work in a art shop that already exists. Those are my two alternatives for now.
Yeah, have you done either of those? Like do you have leads? Do you know how to make either of those things happen?
To get leads, no, but the unique thing is that I have advised my best friend about how to get leads, and he has followed my advice and he has gotten leads. So I will need to ask him again for advice. It's my turn to ask him for advice to get leads. I think that's one way to achieve
So
that. I
so
think.
your friend got a job via this method?
Yeah, he did. He has asked me for advice about how to do that, and I've given my guy my advices, and he has achieved it. So I will try to get advices from him on how to do the steps exactly, the actions now instead of the theory. Hmm.
Yeah, that could be a good asking your friends for support is a classic good thing to do to help unblock yourself because we can get in our own heads and not make very much progress and talking to other people can help a lot. The other thing is just writing more. I don't know how often you write, but spending a lot of time writing would probably be very helpful. Um, and then the final thought is something like, is it possible for you to put yourself on a path that other people have walked so that you can use their journey and their knowledge? Yeah. So for instance, like a classic path, like for instance with front end development, one reason to do front end development, like there are good reasons, is that there are front end development jobs out there, and it sounds like you maybe know how to get one. If you know how to get one, that's pretty helpful. There are some reasons not to do front end development jobs, which is that it's a relatively niche job and it won't exist forever. Whereas if you know computer science or you know software engineering at a general level, that sort of job is going to exist for much, much longer. It's not like software engineers are going anywhere, but software engineers might be moved around the stack a little bit. So you might need to do full stack, you might need to do databases, you need to do all sorts of different things. And so that's just something to know, is like, obviously you can compare a lot of different realistic plans against each other and then choose the realistic plan that is most beneficial to you. So for instance, getting into 42 school seemed like a pretty good plan in some ways because they're a boot camp and they help you get a job, and you were in this application process. When was their last application season? Can you apply again to their next season?
I I can, but my skills have not really developed that much. Um, I think it was already passed. It was on
And
April
is
of
that
this year.
they told you that the reason they weren't accepting you is because your skills weren't good enough yet?
That's the issue. If I do not tell the reason about the acceptance of a rejection,
Mm.
it's up to you. So I think it was because of the skills, because I've not any clue about anything else.
And some things that are worth just covering,
Mhm.
just so that you're able to look at them as well,
Yeah.
is like, how much runway do you have? Like, how are you in debt? These are some good things to just have covered if you're
I'm not.
comfortable
I'm
answering
not.
them. You're not in debt.
Yes, I'm not.
Okay, that's good. And then how much runway do you have? Like, how many months could you sustain yourself without changing anything about how you're living right now?
hmm I think about 1 year. I
You have
can
like one
sustain
year of
myself.
runway.
Yeah, yeah.
And then what have you done that has led to the most progress? In other words, like, if you look into your past, first of all, what do you value the most? Like, what are the things where you're like, wow, I love doing that. That was really good. That also made progress toward your goals such that you can try to leverage those things for more success? Or are you kind of like all the way at the beginning of your journey where you have no past success stories to pull upon?
Mm, in computer science, I do not have any real success story. But when it comes to making art, I do have some success story about some months that I've spent just making art. I was in a state of flow. It was quite impressive. My productivity went to a roof. So I will try and recreate that more and more as I go.
Yeah. And were you proud of the art that you made during that period as well?
I still am right
Mm.
now.
And so did anyone purchase that art, or did anyone, like, do you have any signs from the market or any signs from other people that that art is particularly valuable in some domain such that you could do that full time and then extend your runway?
No, no, I do not have any feedback from the market. I have not really put myself out there as much as I would have wanted.
Mm. So you haven't gotten feedback on the art,
Just a
and you have a
small amount.
year. How many friends do you have that live near you that you can work on this stuff with, or that you like talk to frequently that you can work on this stuff with?
I have about two friends who are quite deep in the field, both
And
in
have
terms of
either of them in computer science or in art?
one of them is in computer science, and the other one is in art.
In art, okay. And then your friend who is doing art, do they have feedback from the market yet? Are they able to
They,
sustain
they
themselves doing it?
they do. They are beginning to sustain themselves in a big way. They are getting rich. They are getting yeah, yeah, they're quite strong. So I'm proud of them for the progress. So I will try and ask them for more feedback
Definitely.
to see if
I,
I can learn from them
I would ask if you could like work with them more closely, or
more
like learn
closely.
from them or learn from their success, or work with
Mm-hmm.
them on their projects, or I don't know. There's something like, if the thing that is giving you the most flow and the most excitement is your art,
Yeah.
and you also know people who have managed to sustain themselves doing art in a way that you could imagine yourself sustaining yourself, then I could definitely see you going down that route and asking them to help you realize these plans. So you can say like, "Hey, I have these plans. I don't know how to realize them, honestly. I could use your help realizing them. Is it realistic? Like I have a year. Is it realistic that I can accomplish these plans within a year? Ideally within 6 months, so that I have time to pivot if it's not working. And if that's the case, what would you need to see from me in order to give me feedback on how much progress I'm making toward that plan?" That sort of thing. Because if you can get this external source of feedback, that's going to give you a lot more certainty, which is also going to give you a lot more motivation because, like we mentioned before, it seems like one of the things that's demotivating you is that you're not exactly certain about how to proceed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I need to get some guidance from my friends and from people within the market, within my market, who has already progressed a lot farther than I have. And they will need they can give me some guidance about my plan if my plan is not specific enough, not realistic.
Yeah, and you should,
Uh,
and the easiest way to get good feedback is to present as really low ego. So you want to be really humble. You want to profusely and repeatedly make it clear that they're allowed to be honest with you, because the hardest thing when somebody who is your friend asks you for feedback is that you don't want to be honest with them because you don't want to hurt their feelings, because you want to preserve the friendship, right? So you need to, especially if this person is your friend, you're going to need to make it very, very clear, like, hey, I'm really serious about this. I really want honest feedback, even if it hurts, even if I don't like it, even if it means that I can't succeed. Like even if it means you think I'm going to fail. Like I just need to know the most honest version of the feedback, because I'm taking this very seriously and I'm trying to make a decision about how I should spend the next year of my life. And for me, since that's a very serious decision, I just I'm not going to react like, I can handle it. Just tell me the truth, because I'm trying to improve, that sort of thing. And then like if you're making that very very clear that you can handle honest feedback, then definitely
all right.
asking for more feedback is just going to be the most helpful thing for you.
Mhm. All right. So need to ask more feedback and do it as in a way that is not really that doesn't show any ego, any pride.
Right, and it's like you're allowed to have
Hmm.
um you're obviously allowed to have pride in your work, but not at
Yeah.
the same moment when you are like asking for the feedback from somebody and you want it to be really really honest. Those are just different times. So like have pride in your work when you're making the work, have pride in your work when you're selling the work. But when you're going to a friend or when you're going to a collaborator for like very very honest feedback, that's when you want to knock it down a notch and just say like, hey, honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing here, and I'm pretty scared that I'm going to be wasting my time, and I could really use your honest feedback. And I'll be okay. Like, don't worry about hurting my feelings or whatever. That's a good time to ask for honesty.
Mm. All right. Okay.
Cool.
So
Yeah, I have to head out in just a little bit, but I hope some of this was helpful in certain directions. I know that we have a lot
it
of
was. It
distance that
was.
we're covering, and um, I personally, obviously, just from 30 minutes, can't tell you whether you should pursue computer science or your art. It seems like you have friends who've successfully pursued both, and those are both good signs that they could both be good options. I obviously am a software engineer and have pursued software engineering in my career, and I know how to do that. So that would probably bias me in favor of software engineering, but I don't want to be biased in your case, because for you, you have a different
Mm.
background and you have
Okay.
different friends, and the things that you know how to do are different. The major thing I would try to bias you toward is just be as realistic as possible, where again, realistic means you know how to realize the goals. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're being conservative as much as it's like you just don't you, you're going to consistently struggle with this problem where you don't know what to do if your goals aren't realistic enough, because you're literally trying to accomplish them,
Realistic.
but you're trying to accomplish the goals, but you just don't know how. And then that's going to cause you inaction, if that makes sense.
All right. So I think I just need to be more realistic about the plans, whether it's for art or for computer science. To be realistic and to be more precise about each step of the way. And if possible, I would also need either both alternative plans and feedback from my friends. Yeah, my friends.
Yeah, and does all of
Is
that
that correct?
feel? Yeah, as long as I would say I would add a preamble, like as long as all of that stuff feels fun, if that makes sense. Like part of this is that you have to hijack some engine inside of yourself. So we have parts of us that naturally want to move or like naturally want to do stuff. So for instance, a lot of us do things when they feel fun. A lot of us do things when they feel easy. A lot of us do things when they feel interesting or fascinating. So what you want to do is you want to try to make all of this stuff that we've talked about in this call, yeah, you want to make it interesting. You want to make it fun. And if it's not fun or it's not interesting and it feels like work, um, then you actually need to go back to the drawing board and like even approach your meta plan at like a with a new meta plan. You know what I mean? You want to keep coming up with
Yeah.
new meta plans
Mhm.
until the meta plan starts to feel fun. And then once the meta plan starts to feel fun, you can draft a plan that begins to feel fun. And then once the plan feels fun, then you're actually going to work on it. As long as it's also
All
realistic,
right.
because otherwise you might feel uncertain.
So I need to keep a balance of fun and realistic. And even as a draft, it needs to seem fun, the plan.
Yeah, like if you're not actually going to talk to your friend because it feels scary, then obviously don't beat yourself up about that. Like figure out you should talk to your friend. But the question is, well, what motivation do you need to talk to your friend? Like think about that and think about what type of ask you need to make and, like make sure I don't want this call to end up with you having a list of things where if you don't do those things on the list you feel bad. It could be that again, we've only been talking for 30 or 40 minutes. I don't know you and I don't know your motivation. So just if the things that we came up with on this call don't work, that's okay. Try to come up with new things that are still at that high level of like helping you navigate and helping you reassess, helping you kind of survey the field and coming up with a very realistic plan. Since currently the plan you have, it seems like is not causing you to act at the rate that you want to be acting.
Okay, so it's not really a checklist that you're giving me, but more of a framework to analyze my plans, whether it's for art or for computer science. And if any of the actions that you have recommended do not work, I can still break down the alternative plans and try and make it work. Is that correct?
Right. Yeah.
Hmm. Anyways, thank you so much for all of the value that you have given me today. Just
Yeah.
wanted to say
Happy
that.
to. I'm glad we were able to chat and I wish you the best of luck. I especially hope that your art is stuff that you're able to sell. And it sounds like you really enjoy making it. I hope you're able to make games and stuff like that. Just
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that that takes time. It takes a lot of time to
Mhm.
become an entrepreneur and to
It
sell
does.
stuff. And so try to make it go faster as much as you can without forcing yourself because it does take time. So both give yourself patience and also try to make it fun, and be realistic in the sense that it might take a long time. uh, and that's just how it is. So just be patient with yourself. All right. Um, cool. Bye, dude. Nice to meet you.
Okay, you. Okay, nice to meet you too.